Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond the Feet. In today's video we're going to be checking out our favourite shoes for 2020. What was our personal favourite? It's not going to be our top 5 video, not the best of 2020, but in our personal opinions, which one we love running in, and yeah, let's get into it.
This is a video where we showcase the shoes we've picked up the most on those Arvo jogs and what we've enjoyed most, the least imperfections when it comes to the shoes. So my personal favourite for 2020 is the Clifton 7. This kind of did pick this up late in the year. I think it was about August when I actually got my hands on these, or even a bit later. They had gone back to their roots of, I felt, the original Clifton series, so those 1, 2 and 3. The 4, 5 and 6 was pretty ordinary when it came to comparing it to the earlier versions, and with the 7 I feel like they've gone back to that original series, and the fit's very similar. The feel underneath the foot's quite soft, but it still gives you a bit back, but it just takes a lot of that jarring out of the body. You can do a ton of workouts in these. My probably favourite workout to do in these is just a negative split, so just a long run than just trying to get a bit quicker, then just fade into a few endurance laps. But yeah, can't really say anything bad about this shoe. Nice breathable upper, very snug around that midfoot area. Decent amount of cushioning underneath the foot. I think these come in about 260 grams, but they're a nice, lightweight, balanced, high cushion daily trainer. It's kind of on its own in that category. You got your things like your 1080 plus a few others that kind of stack up to it nicely, but I feel like these, durability wise, you get a bit longer out of the cushioning and Hoka, and they don't use any fancy word for the cushioning. It's just EVA, and does the job. But yeah, it's a good shoe.
And you haven't experienced any like injuries or anything running in that?
No, it's actually helped with, I think I was having some ITB issues, as well as a few shin splints, but that was more of a nutrition thing. But a lot of forefoot cushioning as well, just to take a lot of stress out of the body. And just the heel cup actually locks in quite well. The memory foam probably gets kind of adapted to your heel about 30 k's in. I felt it was quite uneven. It felt like there was a bit more on the medial side to get going. But it hugs the Achilles nicely. It's a lot shallower of a fit, so things I've found worse about the Clifton 6, there was too much room in the toe box, similar to the Rahi 4 at the moment. There's way too much room when it comes to the last shape in the toe box. I'd probably say leave that to the Bondi as well as the Gaviota. Someone needs a bit more depth to the shoe. Those chunky boys need a bit more height. So keeping the Clifton 7, that slimmer, sleeker shoe, and having it in a few different widths, can easily adapt to a lot of runners. It's probably about 120 k's in at the moment. Probably should have done a bit more running, but been a bit lazy. Had a few too many kegs on the body this year. That's all right.
Sweet, moving on to my favourite shoe of 2020 so far, or not so far, for this year. It's Asics Novablast. This was a very hype shoe, and for me personally, one of the only shoes that I did a decent amount of k's in. I think all up this year I've only done about 300 k's, if that, and at least 120 of them were in the Novablast. So it was a shoe that actually got me running. Never really ran much over a full year at all, except for kind of a bit of footy training. But this shoe actually made me want to put it on, go for a run, because of how bouncy, lightweight and fun it was. Even up to that 10k, like for me being very unfit, with the latest stage in the run, I still found it very fun to run in. It felt very cushioned the whole way through. A little bit of a downfall in it was the touch of flexibility, but once I kind of strengthened up my feet a little bit and I could run a little bit more efficiently, this shoe did work really well. So naturally, with my running form to start with, it wasn't quite working, but then the more I ran in it, the more I did love it. Overall, the shoe breathed really well, wrapped around my foot quite nicely, and did lock me in reasonably well. Initially I thought there'd be a little bit of slippage because of how much volume there was in the shoe, but it just made for not a too intrusive upper. I was kind of tossing up between this and the Hoka Rincon. The other kind of 100 k's I did was in the Hoka Rincon, and I enjoyed that shoe as well. Very lightweight and fast as well, but I just found the Novablast to be a bit more cushioned, take a little bit more pressure off the body overall, and just kind of lasting really well for what it is. I thought it'd really kind of chew down, but there's kind of really no wear in the rubber at all. A little bit of initial kind of patching on it, but apart from that, like, it's held up really nicely. Some people have said they've even ran up to 1,000 Ks in this. I find that very hard to believe, but overall the shoe is a very fun shoe to put on the foot. If you're someone who just wants to kind of put on a shoe, go for a run and feel a lot faster than you actually are, this is definitely one to do it. Really, really lightweight, doesn't feel like you have too much on the feet, and when you're really unfit at the time, putting a nice lightweight responsive shoe on does really work. I think what made it so refreshing as well, with a lot of Asics previously, and you've probably seen in some of our older videos, I always talk about how heavy and firm they were. And that was just the traditional way they were doing their shoes. With where Asics going towards, we'll mention some in the upcoming videos as well that Asics have nailed on the head. The Novablast does really work quite well. The Flight Foam Blast cushioning system is definitely one of the better cushioning systems on the market right now. I said it in my previous video as well, and it's just very soft, very responsive, and holds the foot really well overall. So yeah, Asics, keep up what you're doing with the Novablast. This is, yeah, my favourite shoe for 2020 so far. The Rincon was a very close second, was tossing it up, but as I said, just for that slightly longer runs, I found the Novablast just gave you that little bit extra cushion, took a little bit of extra pressure off the knees and the ankles. Having that 10mm drop as well, for me it tends to work quite well, just because my Achilles are so tight, so it shortens a little bit. It's something I just need to work on personally, but yeah, overall I do really enjoy the shoe.
We'll just touch on what we think the brand could improve on the next iteration of these. There's only a few minor imperfections in this shoe. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The outsole on the Clifton 7. Like, you could easily alter this around a bit, even taking this medial outsole out and popping it on that lateral side on your midfoot. Like, a lot of you Clifton wearers, you'll experience a ton of wearing on that lateral side, on that midfoot section. People with that midfoot striking, or even rear foot striking, all that EVA just usually gets chunked out, and basically I've never really seen any wear on that medial side. Popping that on the lateral side, obviously you'll get a bit more traction out of the rubber. It's not going to look as tattered 200 Ks in as the EVA does kind of get beaten up. But that'd be basically the only alteration I'd make for this shoe. Wouldn't touch the upper at all, actually fits my foot quite nicely. Can adapt to a lot of different foot types with having that just a bit more of a gusset, a bit more of a flexible tongue. And that's be the only alteration I'd do on this shoe. Midsole works great, heel count locks in the heel nicely, doesn't irritate the Achilles, and you can get a decent lock down over that midfoot section. Nice and breathable forefoot, and it's still got ample room for the toes, but it's not sloppy, so it's just a happy medium that they've done there. But yeah, the outsole is the only thing I would change when it comes to just the placement of the rubber.
And for the Novablast, the only thing I kind of really change with it, I'd have a little bit more of a dialed in fit across the midfoot area. Yes, for my foot it worked alright because I do have a very high arch, but for a lot of people they did say the upper felt a touch sloppy, so even just whacking in a gusseted tongue, I think that'd fix the problem overall. If I could change anything else, I'd just make it a touch more stable in the heel. And with the Dynablast, what they did, they just attached that rubber across the heel there, and I found that did the job. So I think in the Novablast 2, we'll probably find that should happen. Just adding that touch of stability at that heel, not to kind of correct pronation, but just to limit how flexible the shoe is. Just to that heel for when you get a little lazy and take the heel strike a bit more. I think that would make it that overall daily trainer that you can also run a tempo day in. I think that would, yeah, nail it on the head overall. But yeah, I still love this shoe. It's very fun to run in, and apart from that, it's very breathable, holds the foot well, and feels very soft. So yeah, I do enjoy it.
Let's about wrap it up for this video. It's been a while, so well done getting you through to this part of the video. Much appreciated. Let us know what your favourite shoes of 2020 are. We'll do a video soon on the best shoes going into 2021 when it comes to actual daily trainers. Pretty sure both these will probably be in the mix somewhere. Plus some stability shoes. There's quite a lot of brands that have actually changed up the game when it comes to stability, made for more of a holistic support system, which actually I think works for a lot of people better, instead of just having a harsh bit of dual density on the medial side. But anyways, give us one of those ones, hit that sub button, whatever that does, and we'll see you in another video.
Adios.
Amigos.